This weekend I was watching a YouTube video by an investigative journalist named Peter Santello. He was touring areas with a fellow public adjuster in California, touring the sites of all the damage from the Palisades fires. What was very interesting to me is that they also highlighted the Altadena fires that are lesser known, but the volume of homes that were damaged were much greater than the Palisades. What was consistent among both areas, and is likely consistent in any area that has a catastrophic event occur, is that most people were not aware of the lack of coverage they had in areas of total loss or in areas where something fits into a certain category of coverage. For example, any of the homes that were still standing incurred so much smoke and soot damage that they've reached policy limits just through that. So if they had had a total loss of a total burn down of their home, they would be completely underinsured. When you buy a policy, you might buy it at a value that doesn't escalate, and it may renew each year, but it may not escalate in its coverage as property values does, as material construction does. It's usually percentage based, it's not necessarily market value. So some of the people who had generational homes that bought back in the 20s, the 30s for tens of thousands of dollars now are looking at millions of dollars to replace, and likely won't be able to do that because of the fact that there are retired people in there, and whatever extra loans they're going to need to take out, they're more mature and banks are less likely to even provide loans for that. What I advise you is to reach out to a public adjuster. I'm a public adjuster, and we are trained and licensed in the ability to interpret policy. And that policy often has little bits of language in it that triggers coverage, but mostly what I'm talking about here today is having the appropriate coverage and its limits in your ordinance and law, in your additional living expenses, in your coverage A, just to rebuild your property. Is it commensurate with the value to rebuild? So that's not something to be played around with, and it's not something that you want to find out after you've already endured the loss. My number is below, and I've put a link to the video from YouTube. I put a link to our website, and from all of that you can reach out. Let us review your policy. We're licensed in over 30 states, including California and Hawaii, states prone to such firestorms as the ones that we recently saw in the last 2 years.